Hello everybody, I am TankTheNoobs, and welcome to a Let's Play of Pikmin 2. Now this Let's Play is going to be a little bit different than a typical Pikmin 2 Let's Play in that I'm going to have no deaths throughout. I'm going to make sure not a single Pikmin dies from beginning until after the final boss. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to do some resets. I'm sorry, but I can't just play straight through the game without a single death. If I die, I'm going to have to reset and go back to the start of that floor, the start of that day, whichever it may be, depending on whether I'm in the cave. But I'm going to make sure there's no deaths. And with that being said, we're going to erase this file. And we're going to go right ahead and we're going to start a new save and let the intro cutscene play through. And here we are, the Valley of Repose, the first area of the game, I should say. And we lost Louie, because we're driving 700 miles an hour in visibility 0 conditions in a spaceship. was close. Running diagnostics for procrastinating. Louis is missing. One excellent observation. So this should just give us our first objective, and that is to find Louis. But there are Pikmin. So obviously we need to prioritize these over Louis. Like, pfft. If I had to choose one, I'd definitely go with these. There we go. We got our first Pikmin. Super simple. I already kind of killed that by throwing the Pikmin on it. Just gotta wait for the ship. Alright, they managed to get communications back with Louis, so we can press Y to switch between captains. And now we are Louis. So now we have to find Olimar. I'm sorry this first episode, I know it's going to be going by super slow and it's not going to be too much talking. That's just because, you know, there's not really much to do at the very beginning. There's a lot, it's heavily tutorial driven. The best I can really do is explain kind of the game mechanics and whatnot, but all in all, it's pretty simplistic at this point, really. So far, the only controls we have are move around, switch captains with Y, call Pikmin with B, throw them with A. That's it. That's all we know right now. We also just found the onion, which makes seeds, which then sprout into sprouts. Press A to pluck, and we have Louis' first Pikmin. Which all things considered, he had to work a lot harder for. Olimar didn't have to pick him, he just had to blow his whistle and he was good. Now we can issue objectives with C-Stick and disband with X. I think Louis is probably the funniest thing in this entire game. Well, it's just his facial expressions, the way he gets bug-eyed and then he goes to that. I think he's marvelous. So first things first, before we go to Olimar, is we need to get more Pikmin. So to do that, we throw our Pikmin at these flowers. You can like have them go to the stalks and smack it, or you can throw it directly at the pellet, as it's called, at the top, and it'll break immediately. And then the Pikmin will carry it to the onion, where it'll make sprouts. The number of which is indicated by the pellet itself. So these should give us 1, but as the spaceship got to say, since we brought back a red pellet to the red onion, since the colors are the same, it's going to give us double, which is 2. And they also tell us that if there's a bunch of sprouts, you can just start mashing A and it'll auto walk you to the next sprout and start you picking it. Obviously, as you see a mist, and it'll start smacking. It just takes a little bit longer. No big deal. As you can see, when they go to pick something up, you see the number above another number. The top number is how many Pikmin are carrying it, and the bottom number is how many it takes to carry it. So, for instance, you can have more than the required amount. And what that does just makes it carry it faster. There is a maximum limit to how much you can have on it, which is about twice the requirement. So for instance, these pellets that take 1, you can only have 2 on them at a time, so you can't get, you know, all 100 of them and have crazy speed. So miss that pellet, that's my B. So that's just gonna take a minute. Here we have our first treasure, which is just a nice little Duracell battery chilling in the snow. I don't know how usable this is at this point. I don't know. Is it fine? The battery is just cold? Do anything? Is it just fine? Probably just fine. So, we need to get our Pikmin because I didn't notice that pellet, and that is my own fault. Okay, there we go. Pluck those 2. Run over here. Now what I meant to do is I meant to put a single Pikmin on this battery, because it's slightly buried in the ground. So as you can see, we have him. He's digging it up. That's what his That's what his oh yeahs are about. And this bag right here, you throw a Pikmin on top of it to crush it down. We need 15 as an didn't mean to call them back. 15 is indicated by that number. And we had 16, so we can have one dig while we get the other 15 up here. It's a little bit faster, it's not a huge deal. And now, we're reunited with Omar. We gotta go last. More controls. Pretty much just the same thing, actually. Just more in depth, I guess. So actually, the first thing we need to do is we need to carry that back because, spoiler alert, this thing requires 20 Pikmin to carry. And right now we only have 16, and the Bulbmin is going to give us, or the Bulb Orb, excuse me, is going to give us 4. Level 20, so we can just put the rest of our Pikmin there. We can leave all of them are here, because when they'll arrive, we can switch back to get them. This is not too important right now. On the first day, if you haven't noticed, the time limit is actually unlimited. So every day hereafter, when you're above ground, you have a limited time. As you'll see it in the next day, I'll go a little more into detail what is actually a mechanic, but just know that for this day, you actually can take literally as long as you would like. But with that being said, like, there's enough time in the average day that you could probably complete this day twice over. Like, there's not very much to do right now. So we're just kind of waiting on him to come in. Now we've got all 20. Once they sprout, that is. Also, if you have 2 captains, the second captain will help you pluck Pikmin, which is kind of nice. It just makes the process a little bit faster, a little bit less annoying. Just lob the rest of our Pikmin on there. We'll have all 20. Now they'll slowly carry it back to the ship. Pretty much just becomes a waiting game right now, so I'm probably just gonna go ahead and speed it up until they're back with the battery. It's a really nice viewpoint, just kind of chill, really, to make it. See him coming over the horizon, making the way. As long as it goes when the race has, so I can't really hold too much. It's not going too fast. It's a little rough. I don't say patience is a virtue for nothing, but goddamn. I just wish there's something productive you could do. Like, if you could help him, that'd be kind of neat. Help him carry it, make it 22. Unnecessary 20, a little more speed. Can't push them, you can't. Can't really do anything, but they're almost back. Taking this sweet time, but here they are. Returning to the ship with our first treasure. Here it is, the Duracell battery, which the ship aptly names the Courage Reactor, with 280 of our 10,000 Pokos. First explanation did get us our first treasure. You did name it, you named it the Courage Reactor. The ship does say that it thought of the name itself, so this thing's a pretty smart ship. One of its many talents is coming up with hit names for products. So we're gonna send our daily report back to the president. Call it a night, pretty much. But we have to go into low orbit, apparently to send messages back to our home planet, like Hoctate, I think it's called. But we also need to go up there just to avoid like the animals that come, or what are they called? The nocturnal creatures is what they refer to them as. Which, yeah, there's a little glimpse of one. That's, yeah, I know it is terrifying. You need to book it. So our first stage report. Not much to look at. We got one treasure at the Courage Reactor. We got 20 blue Pikmin. And for the most important part, 0 deaths. Made it the whole first day, not a single death. I'm pretty impressed. Got some mail from the president. We found our first bit of treasure. check our treasure hoard. Keep at the pace. Yeah, pretty much just keep doing what we're doing. Gotta get 10,000. We're at 280. A little dent, I guess. Not too much. But that does wrap up the first day. I think I'm gonna call it there for the first episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you disliked it, go ahead and leave a dislike. But if you'd be so kind as to let me know why you disliked the video, that would mean a lot to me. But thank you so much for your time. See you in the next one.